Some people say we're making ADHD our entire personality. I say we're just finally understanding our operating system. Let's talk about finding a balance between using ADHD as an explanation versus an excuse. I've seen some conversations lately suggesting that we are too focused on ADHD traits and characteristics on social media. And I get it. The goal of a diagnosis is not to limit ourselves or to use it as an excuse. It's to understand ourselves better so we can thrive. But here's what those conversations might be missing. For those of us who went undiagnosed for decades, ADHD education on social media serves two crucial purposes. First, it helps people who are still undiagnosed recognize patterns in their lives. That moment when you're scrolling social media and you hear somebody that is explaining your exact internal experience, that's powerful. It's the power of, wait, that's not just me? And that realization is often the first step towards getting some real meaningful help. I know I spent over 30 years hiding my shame and creating elaborate systems just to try and keep it all together. I had masterfully color-coded planning systems that people were just in awe of. They thought I was so organized. And it just made me laugh because the whole point was that I had to have that level of detail just to kind of make it. But people didn't see that. They saw me as someone who was super organized, unless they came to my home very often. But on the outside, I looked super organized, and I let people think that rather than letting them know that I was ashamed that I couldn't keep it all together. Thankfully, I had a friend who pushed me to go for a diagnosis because this was before the social media ADHD education came around. The second reason that content is important is that it provides validation for people who have spent many years feeling like they're all alone or like they're the only ones who struggle in this way. When you've spent your whole life calling yourself lazy, scattered, unmotivated, and then you see somebody on the screen talking about exactly the same things, it's healing. It feels like you finally have found an answer. Understanding your ADHD traits isn't about making excuses. It's about finally having explanations. It's about replacing what is wrong with me with, oh, this is how my brain works. The key is using this understanding as a launching pad for growth, not a ceiling for potential. Yes, I have ADHD. Yes, certain things are harder for me. And I can develop strategies to manage these challenges. And I can finally stop trying harder because that doesn't work. And I can try differently because that does work. It's not about saying, I can't because I have ADHD, or I just can't focus because I have ADHD, or I'll always be late because I have ADHD. It's about saying, okay, this is challenging because I have ADHD. How can I figure out a way to manage it? Because we also have really cool brains that can figure out how to do things, that can think outside the box, and we can come up with really cool solutions if we understand how our brain works. So while we need to be careful not to use ADHD as an excuse, because that only hurts our cause, let's also not dismiss the power of education and representation. Sometimes seeing yourself reflected in others' stories is exactly what you need to start your own journey of understanding and growth. So drop a light bulb in the comments if you first learned about your ADHD traits and characteristics on social media. And follow for more content that focuses on understanding and growth.